Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, my sister, let's go.
Yeah, yeah, maybe I start by introducing myself.
Yes, please do that.
Um, Dr. Njoki
Diaspora
Mitugo.
Liberations. I'm glad you're here today. You're gonna love this conversation. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, I got Dr. Mitugo here. She's gonna basically tell us about the spiritual awakening vis-a-vis Kenya and the importance of it. So if you want to introduce yourself, my sister, and then we'll take it from there.
All right, I'm Dr. Njoki Mitugo. I am an anthropologist. I was born and brought up in Kenya. I'm one of the indigenous communities in Kenya, and I love to be here. Been a lecturer for quite some time, and then I left the lecture room. And now I concentrate so much on research and community development, awakening our people because it is important.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and also enjoying being me, being an African, being an Alkebulan, being with my ancestors, being with my creator, understanding the universe, understanding the vibrations, understanding where we are headed, and understanding where we've come from, not from what has been handed down to me, but from what now I
Mm,
know and understand. And that's what I love sharing.
brilliant.
And I think we'll just go straight into our conversation
Yeah, have the
so that we
conversation. We
don't
got
waste.
guests who are gonna dive in. If they, I got Diaspora Liberation here. I got my brother Sungai. Is part of my regular guest, so they're gonna jump in if and when. But we'll let you go first, and then we can open up the floor and we can actually have a dialogue as well.
Yeah, I like saying, and I like starting from the history. Sorry, our history. Because what has been given to us when you are growing up is not our history, but it is a story that is written from somebody else's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that is what we believe, and that's what our children and us grew up assuming. And that history belittles us. That history makes us feel like we are a lesser people. That history makes us hate who we are, hating our names, hating our culture, hating our background, hating our food, hating our medicine,
Mm,
abandoning our ways. So I like digging into our history. I grew up in the village and I love it. Uh, my great grandfather was a great medicine man who handed over to my grandfather, who handed over to my father. So apart from having this academic system and doing my research, there is what is in me, and that is what I like sharing with people. So if you go back to our history, and people hate hearing about the history because they think the history is what has been given to us, but our true history, we had uh, we had a very, what can I say, organized systems. And in our systems, we had seers, we had our medicine men, we had our healers, we had what we call the people who would offer sacrifices. And our seers, all of us, when I'm talking about ours, I'm talking about the whole Alkebulan community, and then I'm going to narrow down to Kenya and the significance of Kenya to the whole of Alkebulan so that we can understand why we are where we are today. And the seers had talked about the invasion. They
mm,
talked about enslavement. For those who have done research, they know the writings are there. They are hidden in the British Museum. I have seen them.
mm,
So I am talking from a point of knowledge and information. And then it had been foretold that after the invasion, our people are going will abandon their ways and follow the ways of the white man. But
mm,
our people didn't call them the white man; they used to call them butterflies or visitors. That is what is written in their writings. And I like talking about our writings because it's good to understand that our people had their own writings. Nobody taught our people to write. They knew how to write. They knew how to pass messages. There's this narrative of our people being seen as
There's a bit of a feedback from your phone. Okay,
there's
it's
a
better now.
feedback.
It's better
Okay.
now. Okay, it's better now.
Okay, that's all right. People assume that our people used to communicate using smoke and all that, but they kept record, and the records are there. And that's what I'm saying. We need to join together as Al Kabilat and start demanding for those lyrics because they belong to us. They are ours. It is our inheritance. So we were told that after following the ways of the visitor, in our community we call it Mugeni, visitor, then the forefathers will arise again to restore order. And I like comparing the awakening, looking at the religion and what the Bible has given, and especially in the book of Revelation, that is written about the coming of a Christ. But then when you see the description of the Christ, it's actually a description of a black man, a black person, whose face is like the sun. We are the sons and the daughters of the sun.
Yeah.
Hair like the wool of a lamb. Our hair is coarse, actually, just like the wool of the lamb. And then the number 666, which is the number of the beast or the human, the number they say it's the number of a human, is actually the component of the melanin. When you break it down like that, you come to understand these people knew about the awakening. It's only us who are asleep. But white men, those who formed religion, knew so much about the awakening. They described it, they hid it in codes. And that is why they are not looking for heaven, but the black man is the one looking for heaven because they know heaven is not there. I was surprised the other day I saw the Pope saying that there's no heaven and there's no hell. It's all in our mind. So it's being revealed slowly by slowly. So when we come to Kenya, you got to understand the position of Kenya. These boundaries are colonial boundaries.
Yep.
We used to be just one big community with different people, but the way Kenya is situated, we call it the heart of our Creator. It is the only country, let me just call it a country, or it is the only region that Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, that has mountains that have snow and they are lying along the equator.
Wow, yeah.
They are unique, you have studied, about the unique places, the hot water lakes, the volcanoes, and Africans in their immigration routes used to move around this area because they would look up to their creator. There's a friend of mine, she's Sangoma in South Africa. She's of the Imbere, and she tells me the Imbere community came from the community called Bere in Kenya. Actually digging to see her ancestors. So, what is happening in Kenya today? We go back to not very long ago when during the Second World War, Africans were taken to go and fight alongside the white man.
Yep.
It's a war they did not understand because it was not their war. But they fought and then they came back. When they came back, they noticed some 5 things. And one thing they noticed is that all the white guys who died in the battlefield, they were brought back to Africa different protectorates, and they were given a hero's burial. In Kenya, we have so many war memorial cemeteries. And when I was growing up, I used to ask, I assumed it was the Mau Mau War memorial, but then I discovered we don't have any memorial cemetery for our heroes. But then these black people, they discovered those of the black lineage or their friends who they went with. When they died in the battle, their bodies were left there, they were buried there, they were not brought home. Then again, when they came, like in Kenya, they found now their families living in concentrated villages because now colonization had already come and people were being crowded together in concentrated villages. And then the white men were allocated land. So their bodies, the bodies of those who died were left in the battlefield. Then when they came back, then they went to live in the concentrated villages, and then the white men were allocated land. So they were not rewarded in any way. Yet they were fighting a battle that is not theirs. The other thing they discovered is that all the sacred places were destroyed. They were defiled. Nobody was allowed to offer the sacrifice to the Creator. They became anxious to offer sacrifices to thank the Creator because of taking care of them there. And now they have come back. They needed to offer sacrifices. They found they could not offer the sacrifices because the sacred places were destroyed and others were completely defiled. And now everybody now was going to church. And if you don't go to church, there was a punishment. I'll give a testimony that I was given by my grandfather, how his father, now my great-grandfather, he was castrated in front of his family. So because he was a medicine man, a very strong one, he had to be humiliated. So he was castrated in front of his family. So my grandfather, his wives got scared, and that is how they joined the church. So when you talk about those things, there are those who are in the church who feel like we are attacking them, but unfortunately, that is nothing but the truth. Religion was not preached the way it is preached today. It was, you either believe or you die. We cut off, we chop off your hands, we chop off your legs, we castrate you, we humiliate you. So you have got to believe. So they found now all their families are going to church. The other thing they found is that all the sacred relics, the paraphernalia they were using to divine times, to connect with nature and do their divinations, they were destroyed. My grandfather used to tell me that his father's paraphernalia, because they tried to burn it, they could not burn it. It was not burning. That's how powerful African spirituality is. So they had to throw it in the river, and then some of it was buried. So they had no choice. They had to join their families, but they kept on asking, how comes? How comes? We were fighting a battle that is not ours, a war that is not ours, but then we come home, instead of being rewarded, we are punished, because it is a punishment. We are not even recognized. The white guys are given medals.
Exactly. Can you mute yourself, please? Sorry, I'm just going to mute. It's all right, carry on. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So they started talking with each other. And they said, no, they need to get rid of the white man because they cannot live the way they have found. They were fighting together, but then when they come here, they become their persecutors. So they started mobilizing each other. They didn't have weapons. The only thing they had is their creator. So they took a special vow. And I like explaining what a vow is.
Okay.
and why the white man had to stop us from taking vows. We have the four elements of the universe, and the first element is the sun or the fire. Then we have the element of the wind, that is the air. We have the element of the water, and we have the earth. So when you take a vow with any of those elements, you bind yourself with the creator. You bind yourself completely with the universe. I remember, in fact, today I was remembering when we were growing up. My brother, if I did something or we did something mischievous with my brother, he would tell me to swear by the soil,
Yeah.
and he would tell me just
Yeah, I remember
swear by
that.
the soil.
Yeah. And you
Yeah,
put your
so
finger on the ground and you put it in your mouth, innit?
you did that.
Oh yes, I remember that in Nigeria. Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so it was all over. Yeah, that
Yeah.
and I don't know why I started remembering today that if you broke that vow, something would happen to you. Like you'll hurt your finger, you'll fall down. Something will happen. Just something small.
Yeah.
So these guys now took a vow with the Creator, and there are stories and records that are given that when they were being shot dead, they would just hold the soil. The white man was trying to translate that to mean that they were holding the soil because they were fighting for land. No, holding the soil is a vow. It's actually a vow, a very strong vow with your creator. So they took this vow and they promised the creator that if he ever gives them victory, against of these guys, and he restores them, they are going to restore, first of all, the sacred places. They'll restore the sacred places. They will restore the systems as they were. And that is how they went to the forest to fight the white man with no weapon. Then they sneak into some of the police stations, steal some guns and some bullets. They would started making their own guns in the forest. But can you imagine fighting somebody who has aeroplanes? They have bombs, grenades, and you have some makeshift guns. But they did.
Yep.
They did. Because they knew it is not them who is fighting. Our people had that strong faith, or that, no, it's not faith, it is a connection, that strong
It's a connection with the
connection.
source. It's a connection with the source, sis. They knew it.
Exactly. It was so real, you can touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And they knew once they make a vow, he will keep it. The source will keep that vow because this is our land.
Yes.
And he is a just. Our creator is very just.
Yes.
There are records that are not there. Actually, we are rewriting it of how the Mau Mau War was fought. And there was one special occasion. I got a chance of speaking to a lady who passed on just a few months ago. She was called
Okay.
Field Marshal Mugabe. She was a field marshal, one of the great women. Actually, we are doing a documentary on her. She died early this year. And she confirmed to me there was one occasion in a place called Kabiti where now the Creator showed his power. They had been, the Mau Mau Mudon was in that battalion, and one of the seers just told them to just go to try and lay an ambush for some of them who were being transferred from one jail to another. And he told them Mwene Nyaga is going to, we call the creator Mwene Nyaga.
Yeah.
So
In my
they
language, we call
knew.
him Olodumare, Eledumare in Yoruba.
Okay. We
Yeah.
call him Mwene Nyaga. the owner of all the crowns or the biggest crown.
Yep.
So Tia told them that Mwenenyaga has said that he's going to show his power and he's going to show what he can do. So they went, and there was a convoy of white guy, these white men's askari soldiers and some Mau Maus who had been arrested, who are now being transferred to another jail. She was telling me there was a convoy of about 20
your phone is kind of giving funny sound. Okay, it's better now. Carry on.
It's better now. Oh, okay.
Okay, it's better.
So when they went to lay an ambush, and she was telling me there were about 20. There were not many, and they didn't have many guns. They actually only 2 of them had guns. Then all of a sudden it became like it was darkish, like it was going to rain, and there was thunder and lightning. And then within no time, the white man, all the white guys fell down.
Wow.
Yes. And then the diviner, because he was there, commanded now the Mau Maus to rise up and correct those guns and put them together. So they went, they corrected all those guns, they put them together, and they stood aside, waiting now for the white guys to recover. So when the white guys recovered, they're looking for their guns, and then they see a heap of their weapons. They had grenades, the guns,
wow,
somewhere, and they didn't know what to do.
Yep. Can't imagine confusion.
Yes. So that is just to show it is not the Mau Mau who really fought. It is Mwenenyaga who fought for them.
Yeah.
So they released their people, they took the guns. So that's how they were acquiring their weapons. Why am I giving this story? Because I want to show you the picture of the young people, the Gen Zs, what they have started today.
Yeah.
They've been 6 weeks. These are people, they don't have weapons. So the war was fought, but there was one mistake that was made because they were the ones who were fighting. But somehow the conniving way of the white man, he decided to call on some of people, especially those who had gone to Britain for studies, like Jomo Kenyatta and the rest. Chengo Neko, they were put together, and they started negotiating for freedom. And my question is it the white man who gives the freedom? I mean, you are in my land. You've made me a slave. I'm fighting you. And then now you call for negotiation with people who have not gone to the forest, and you're negotiating how you're going to give me freedom. So the negotiations were made, they negotiated, and the Mau Maus were told to get out of the forest because freedom has come. So when they came out of the forest, they could not fulfill anything that they had promised the Creator.
Yeah, because they moved them away from their source, haven't they, sis?
Yeah, they moved away from the source, and they went to church. They became Christians. But I thank our ancestors, because something that is foretold has to be fulfilled. Remember, when I was starting, I said our seers had said our people will abandon our ways and follow the ways of the visitor. And this is what happened. They went to church, they went to school, we went to school. We were taught to hate our names. We were taught to hate our food. Our food became the poor man's food. We started embracing strange things, strange teachings that only make sense to the one who has started. So the time has come. We've been like that. Africa has been having. I like calling them clones, not really puppet clones, because they've been cloned by the Western systems. The leaderships in Africa are just clones. From the time of independence in Kenya, we cannot say that we've enjoyed the freedom, because we never fulfilled the promises made. And in Kenya, people always ask questions and they wonder why are the Mau Mau families living in poverty and the home guards are the ones who are in leadership and they are so rich. And it's because they moved from the source, so they could not fulfill their promise. So that is carried on to us, it was carried on to their children, and we are still carrying it. But the good thing is that the awakening is here with us.
Yep.
And it's happening. They have awakened the Gen Zs, just as Lekate had been foretold, that the young people will rise up. And this will be the final battle. So when I see people aligning themselves with parties, I laugh. Because if you look at the similarity of the Gen Zs and the freedom fighters, it was the same. It is the same. The freedom fighters didn't have weapons. The only thing they had is the connection with the source. They knew it would happen. They were tribeless. They didn't care.
Yeah.
They're just a whole different community suffering, so they came together. They were tribeless.
Yeah.
People assume it's only the Kikuyus who fought. No, it was fought by all communities. From the coast, we have somebody like Metakilili. We have somebody like Koitalel, Alap Samoe. We have Kinalaibon in the Mas Island. So all communities in Kenya fought the white man. So they were tribeless. They were leaderless. They didn't have a leader. The field marshals were just leading their small squads in the forests or on land. So tribeless, leaderless, and what else? And they didn't have weapons. The same case is happening with the young people. And they're telling us they are leaderless, they're tribeless. And you have seen them on the street. The only thing they are carrying is a bottle of water, a placard, and a phone. And they're being faced by people with guns and shooting them. And that's really, it's really touching my heart. How can a whole man like you point a gun at an 18-year-old and you shoot them dead and you're a father? So it is a repeat. It is a repeat because this is the final war as it was foretold. So very soon you're going to hear the resounding echo all over Africa of borderless.
Ashe.
And yes, and it will come from the young people.
Yes.
And they're going to break the borders. Why? Because they need to embrace each other.
Yes.
We have one ancestry. That is one thing about Africa. We have one ancestry because there was a lot of immigrations, and when they were immigrating, they could intermarry.
Yep.
They intermarried. They used to steal girls from one community, would steal girls from another community, so that they don't fight because they knew their seed is there. So this is the last battle. So when I see politicians aligning themselves, I'm just laughing. I'm just laughing because one thing I know is that the creator, who is the source, is putting them together.
Yeah.
Because from the time of so-called independence, these people went on a looting spree. They became God. They took the seat of the white man because the African didn't have classes. We were brothers and sisters. The only people who had a class were the warriors and the elders. The old people, they were elders. They were respected. Every other person was a brother and a sister, and that's what Ubuntu was all about.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, Ubuntu, yeah.
We embraced each other. And like in my community, and actually in many communities, I found that in the Zulu, with the Zulus in South Africa, there used to be a granary for the travelers on the roadside.
Wow.
And the villagers would take food there, sugarcane, cooked food, porridge, so that the traveler will have something to eat.
Yeah.
When they were harvesting, when they were doing harvesting on their farm, they would always leave food on the farm for those people who do not have. Why? Because you are not supposed to give somebody from your hand. Because giving somebody from your hand, now you become their provider. And an African would never ever take that possession. That possession is only reserved to the for the need to the source. So they would leave food unharvested on the farms. I think I'm having poor connection. I hope I'm still audible.
Yeah, I think you're okay. We can hear you. It went red, but it's still okay. You're good.
But the poor people who have not had a good harvest, they can go to that farm and just collect and go and eat. That's how we lived. So these people who took over, the people who negotiated, I don't know what they were negotiating with the white man, the same negotiations we are hearing today.
Yeah.
This white man came raping, came destroying, came killing, came grabbing our land, and then a small group of people negotiated for freedom. That word makes me sick. What were they negotiating? Were they negotiating the raping of the children? Were they negotiating the killings? Were they negotiating the land grabbing? What did they negotiate? And does it mean that the white man is the one who has freedom and he walks around dishing it out? Yeah, you come to my home and then all of a sudden you're telling me we negotiate about my freedom. So that is it was the worst betrayal of the freedom fighters, of the fighting communities in Kenya. That a few people sat with the white man, they negotiated. These guys are still in the forest fighting because they needed the white man to just clear and go. But a small group negotiated for freedom. And then after that, the Mau Maus were told to get out of the forest. And we forget the past and we build the nation. How do you forget the past and your land has been taken? You don't even know. Some others have been taken to concentration camps.
So, sis, sorry to interject. So basically what you're saying now, this is a spiritual awakening of what the wrong that was done in the past, and the spiritual awakening of that coming up now.
Exactly. That is why there is that similarity. That is what people are not reading. Exactly what happened that time is what is happening now. And that is why you fight in Kenya. The Gen Zs are saying we are not negotiating because the mistake of negotiation was done.
Yeah.
So this.
Can I ask you something then, sis?
Sorry?
Can I ask you something then?
Yes.
Do you think maybe our forefathers didn't have the power to battle it out with the whiteys? Therefore, they did what they could in order to give us chance so that we can fight the real battle.
Yeah. And finish it.
Yeah, do you not think that is what the case was? Because if you look at the slavery, right? Some of them resisted by killing themselves. They jump off board into the ocean and kill themselves. Some also stay on in order to get to the other side, in order to make a statement for their generations to come and fight the evil. And I think as an African, we can't be too critical of our ancestors of decisions that they made at that point, because as you may as well know, they might not had the power to fight the whiteys those days. So they probably did some negotiation in order to sustain our land, because the part that didn't do the negotiation, they were eliminated completely. Example is Australia and America and Canada. So, in my opinion, whatever happened in that time is what has given us the opportunity to be able to make that wrong, put it right. Don't you think?
Exactly. And this is what I've said, that whatever has been foretold has to be fulfilled. All these had been foretold before. The betrayal had been foretold. So it was fulfilled. So when our children are rising up, because for me, they are my children. When they are rising up to complete or to finish what our forefathers started. And they're fighting now to fulfill that which our forefathers spoke about.
But sis,
We
do
may
you
not
think?
change where we are.
Can I ask you? Do you think the political elite understand this battle? Are they aware?
There's some who are aware, but I'm talking from Kenyan perspective, and I look at the politicians and you find like very few of them are aware, because like the ones in opposition are looking at it as an opportunity, and they are pushing the Gen Zs to register a party. And this is why we cannot register a party, we are partyless. There are others who think that they can become the voice of the Gen Zs. But they have been there in the opposition. They have been there in government. Because if you look at the politicians in all the African countries, it's actually an elite class. Let me just call it an elite class.
Yeah, but they are an elite class because basically they've been indoctrinated by the colonial system, so they are.
Exactly, and there is a lot of recycling. They keep on being recycled. So they have been there. They live for a bit, and then they come back, and then they keep on getting indoctrinated more and feeling more powerful. So to answer my brother, we don't blame our ancestors, no. But being given a chance to right a wrong, because it had already been prophesied, and then we don't right that wrong, that will be detrimental. That won't be wise. And I hope and pray that it doesn't happen. Because the white man knows this is the end. I've seen the IMF now blaming Ruto for what is happening. I've seen America blaming Ruto for what is happening.
So now they're turning on him.
Yeah, now they're turning against him. And then the things that are being revealed by these youngsters, you get scared. You wonder, do we have a country? If the government can think about selling our airport, the international airport, they're selling our national parks. They are displacing people so that foreign companies can come and mine. And our people have gone to school, and not even gone to school. We have this knowledge within ourselves. The source would not have put us where the minerals are if we didn't know what to do with the minerals. That is always my take.
Okay, sis, can I just let Diaspora Liberation, do you want to say something, my sister? You've been quiet there. You want to say something to what my sister is saying?
Yes, thank you for having me here. And I appreciate everything that the other sister was saying, because so I'm Haitian. My name is Rose Stella. I also went to the United Nations School. So my entire life, I have known nothing but the unity of the diaspora. If people don't know, Haiti, we are the embodiment. We represent in our bones what it is for Africans to unite, because we are a combination of Guinea, Fon, Igbo, and Congo. And it's said that when we came together to start the Haitian Revolution, we had a ceremony in Bois Caïman, and it was to unite us all together to use our spirituality to fight the colonizers at the time, who were France. And everything that she's describing is exactly what we did. We didn't even speak the same language. Our elders tell us that all the time, because at the time, the colonizers realized that if they kept taking only Igbos or only Guinea or only Congolese, they kept revolting too much. And so their strategy was, okay, then we have to do some psychological warfare. We have to mix them up. But that was actually the best thing that they could do, because we still were able to unite, and we were still able to fight them both physically, but also spiritually. She's absolutely right when she says we made that vow to being the caretakers, to being the descendants of our lineage, to be to answer the call of our ancestors, and they supported us in our fight. And so we find ourselves now 220 years later, and everyone in the diaspora is feeling what the youth in Kenya have done. Everybody is feeling what Ibrahim Traore is doing. Everyone is feeling Mali and Niger getting together. Like, we are all feeling this for a reason. And she's absolutely right. We have to answer the call. We have to do it all over. We're not looking for a leader. We are the leaders. Our ancestors have given us the game plan and what we can contribute. So we have to be coming up with solutions. We have to continue to have these kinds of platforms and conversations, and we're not waiting anymore. The strategy of us being dispersed all over the world, and many of us have been trained in the Western world. It wasn't for us to excel and reach the top of that corporate ladder. No, it was for us to understand the ways of the colonizers. It's to understand the ways that they divide us, to understand the ways that they use religion, and really to understand the ways that they corrupt us. They corrupt us because they keep telling us that our value is outside of ourselves. They tell us that the money is important. They tell us that the house is more valuable. But if we really knew who we were, if we were really grounded in our ancestors, and if we really continue this journey of awakening that's really happening, we would really know who we are. We would know that we are the caretakers of the land, right? We did not go around the globe and colonize and injure and harm and pillage. We didn't do that. They did that. So when we really know who we are, we can unify together. We can work together. I really see the way that the Caribbean, African Americans, and Africans could really all unite, because honestly, individually, our nations can be sovereign. If we really know that, we would stand up and we would continue to speak up for that, and we would continue to protest. We would continue to uncover and show light to the people who are actually doing the corruption. It is the same plan everywhere. In Haiti, it's the same thing. We have 5 oligarchs in Haiti who control the ports, and they pay off the politicians, and they are the ones that are preventing the real Haitians on the ground, the real leaders who are ready to lead, who can self-govern, who are really in it for the best of the people. And it's the same story in the United States. It's the same story in the Caribbean. You see the same story in Africa. So we have this awareness now. We know what their game plan is. So we have to develop a strategy to unite, to create systems together, to create plans together, apps, conversations, products, whatever it is that we need to do. That's what our focus should be, because she's absolutely right. This is the final battle. It really is. And that's why we're all having this awakening at the same time. It's not by coincidence.
Oh, thank you, my sister. You want to respond to that, sister?
Yeah, I'm just going to echo what she has said, because she's actually speaking my heart. It's a high time we start looking at each other the way the source looks at us. We are the source of life. We are connected with the universe. We have allowed ourselves to be belittled. But then again, you look at what the power that we have, the innovative mind, any innovation in this globe, there's a black man or a black woman behind it. Most of the innovations that were made in the US were made by the slaves, but their slave masters took credit for it. Look at the telephone. Telephone was invented by a black man, but he was a slave. So the slave owner took advantage. So we have everything we have. And then our spirituality. I don't like leaving out our spirituality, because there's so much power. We can command the wind. We can command the water. We can command the sun, the stars. We were the first navigators, using the stars to navigate our directions. We talk with the birds I keep telling people when I see strange cats coming to my house, I know there's a message that is being brought. So
Yep.
I welcome them and I speak with them. And it is true, we didn't go to those Western academic system to be brainwashed. We went there to learn their ways. Now we are wiser.
Yep.
We know their thinking, and that's why we are talking like this. We know how they think. We know
Yes.
how they, they plan things. Look at them telling Kenya to send policemen to Haiti. We are having bandits in Kenya. We have not been able to control the cattle lustring in Kenya. But then we are sending policemen to Haiti, poor young men. What are they going to Haiti to do? Look at what is happening in Kenya. Our own background is shaken, but the white make sure that you send your children to fight your brother. It's a high time now, all over, the black community all over. We rise up, we know who they are, we know their weaknesses. The minerals belong to us. I look at Ibrahim Traore and I always say something about him, to the creator.
You see the video I sent to you today, man? It was powerful.
I was so excited. I said, I think I lost my way. I think my home is supposed to be there in Burkina Faso. I should be going back home because he has come out to show exactly what Ubuntu is. This is our land. We can build it. Away with the Thailands, with these puppets who are stealing and going to invest in other areas, going to hide money in other countries. How many billions do I need to survive? I don't need 3 cars. I need 1 car. 1 car to take me where I want to go. I don't need houses and buildings all over. That's not me. That's not who we are.
Yes, let me let Shongai speak, and then I'll just go down the line. Yeah, so Shongai, you want to say something, my brother?
Yeah. Good to be here again. Normally, when I see sisters talk like this, it makes me happy. It renews my happiness, you know.
That's how I'm feeling, bro.
Yeah, those are the women we need to raise our children. They are the one that's gonna raise our warriors. They are the one that's gonna raise the children who are going to finish this war. We're gonna do our bit, and we're doing it right now as we all gathered here talking about it. We're planting the seed.
Yes.
So let's continue that and continue hammering on until the message gets to everyone. But anyway, I wanted to pick on my sister's speech when she said about Africans have our own writing and all this. Of course we did. Our writing was the best, forces everybody to read a book without looking into a book. Do you know how African music started? A complete book can be written in music without putting a pen on the paper. When you listen to the music, you understand it. That is how music started on the continent of Africa. So if somebody tells you Africans did not have a writing script, it was a lie, because we had a better way. Yeah. Our music make us listen and read and understand. They were storytellers.
Yep.
What is the culture? In African American culture right now, they have country songs and all this and all that. They all started on the continent of Africa. When I was growing up, when elderly person die in the community, somebody beyond 100, when they die, there was a special festival that was done. And story were told in music. And that person's story can be told in music. Can you have any book to specifically talk about somebody's whole life in a book? No, but our music gives us that. You know, our music, this is how music was done. So we were forced, whether you go to a classroom or not, you were forced to listen to those music, not like putting a knife on your throat, but you listen to the music every day, and that music stay in your head up to today. Some of the music that they did in my culture still in my head then I didn't understand it, but right now when you analyze it, you can see that it's a complete book. It's a complete book.
Yes.
Beside that, study our art. When you look at the Benin bronze, they tell you the whole story. The Benin bronze was not done just because it was a fun. It was done with music attached to it. You look at script, what they call the transcript. You look at the Benin bronze and it tells you a story when this person arrived this place, when this king was conquered. They all are writing formats. So we shouldn't be lied to that only modern alphabet in English language or in French language is the only format of writing. We have our own.
Yes.
We should be proud of that and go back and study all those stuff.
Yeah.
We should study our art very, very, very carefully. Each and every type of African art should be studied very carefully. We have lost our way because we started to read into Europeans' books. Because they write the story and they tell you, do you know how many people write those books? 2, 3, 4 people maximum. And they tell you the whole story of what you need to know about the world. And you read that and you believe it. We should be careful.
Yeah.
We should be careful what we read. I would advise each and every person to invest time in learning African art, understanding the concept behind it. The moment you understand that, you can interpret every art. Look at Egypt. Look at the hieroglyphic. It was done as an art form. So please, let's understand that writing is not new to us. We choose different direction, and that direction is the perfect one, because when music is played and you like it, you listen to it and listen to it and you listen to it. Who doesn't know how to sing Beyonce's song today without even reading Beyonce's what do you call it, cover album? You know, so we have to understand these things. You know, so what I'll say in conclusion is that our sisters, I'm glad you are involving. You have always been the corners, what do you call the headstone of our communities.
Of the battle.
Yeah, you have always been.
Always.
If you look at the history of Africa, the great warriors were taking care of their parents. The great warriors were women. The great warriors were people who stood up for the whiteys were all women. Santiwa in Ghana, Queen. I can't even remember the name because there's so plenty. Queen Amina, all of them. So we need our women to boost us, because we the men, we are coward now. We want you to put pressure on us and say, men, get up and go to the war with us. And we will do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shanghai. Santos, you want to go next, sir?
Let me just interject a bit.
Okay, go on.
I love what he has said, and it is true. And what is going to make women wake up is our children. Our children are being killed, and there is no mother who is going to sit back and wait for them to kill our children.
Wow.
We mourn when another woman's child dies. I've been crying here. I have been mourning here. I've been standing with these women because I know what it means to have babies. I know what it means to nurture them. So when a whole man takes a gun and shoots that boy, that girl, it hurts me.
Yes.
So the women in Africa, we have no choice. We have to get up and protect these children. We need to stand in front of them. Let us die, but our children live to fulfill this promise, because we have lived in the times that were foretold that we will forsake the ways of our forefathers. So let this generation now start afresh. We have no choice. And then I don't like hiding behind our spirituality. Let us stop being tied down by religion of the white man.
Yeah.
Let us connect with our source.
Yeah.
You know why the white man had to do away with our spirituality? Because of the power that is tied with it. That we can foretell the future, that we can divine, we can stop a rain. In my community, there is one clan that is feared so much because they can stop the rain, and they do it. That is the power that we have, the power that was classified as witchcraft. And we get ashamed. We feel ashamed of that power, but this is who we are. This is who we are.
Thanks, sis. Okay, Santos, you want to go next, please, Mo?
Good evening, Ubuntu.
Good evening, Santos.
I'm fine.
You're
Seriously, today I just want to listen to the women talk. I love what they're saying. Like, it suits my spirit, so I'll just do the listening.
Okay, thank you, Santos. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Curious Man, you want to go next, please, my sister?
Yeah, hi everyone. Hi, kings and queens. And thank you guys for this platform. You know, I always like coming around. Actually, I think we are waking up, and we in the diaspora, we do have one of the thing I think we need to do in the diaspora is to educate our children also, because the mindset is one of the most important things, you know, and so I believe that people are now on learning and learning again, because a lot of African people think that our history starts with slavery. And this is why we always have that saying that if you want to hide something from a black man, you put it in a book. And that doesn't mean we can't read. That just means we don't read our own history. You know, and these are some of the reasons why in the diaspora, we actually have that responsibility to educate our children about our history, where they come from, regardless the color of their passport. And I do that with my own kids. Like, I don't impose anything on them, but I'm not a religious person. I done that long ago. And also to teach our language to our kids. They need to know our language. These are some of the things that in the diaspora we fail to do it. We are the next generation. We are the ones to educate the next generation, not just the Africans back home, but the ones that are growing in the West as well. And the whole of Africa is awakening. You know, 70% of the population are young people between 17 to 40 years. And these people are very scared because people are waking and it is unstoppable. We have so many platforms where if you go around, you see people are questioning everything from religion. And one of the things we need to understand is that we don't need to speak the same language to be able to conquer, because they didn't need to speak the same language before they came to divide us. They didn't have anything in common except their ideology. So we don't need to be able to speak the same language in order to defeat them.
Thank you.
They didn't need the language. And if we look the way that we were divided, it was systematic. If you go close to Nigeria, you realize that they colonized it in English. They came to Cameroon, they did it in French. Ivory Coast and Ghana, people are the same people, but they choose to colonize both and separate them with two languages just because they didn't want them to get along. And so we need to put our differences apart, put language apart, and come together, because our ancestors were defeated because they first defeated us mentally, spiritually, before they defeated us physically. And so we need to now decolonize our mindset. We need to unlearn everything and start learning afresh. If science has proven that man was created in Africa first, you can't come few years ago and bring the story. So I usually ask people, like, how were our ancestors communicating with God before these people came? You know, so we need to start asking those basic questions and not avoid them. So I try to get this conversation with my children. I try to be logic and systematic with them because it's difficult if you just bring information to people without starting it from the basic and give them something to start thinking and work on that. So all I can say tonight is that we in the diaspora, we have that responsibility to continue supporting platforms like this. Whatever we share and contribute will be of great support, and it will be helpful because we will pass away and leave our children in this society. And if they don't change their mindset, the way they are thinking, it will be a round of slavery and ongoing without change. So that's all I can say. I don't know what else to say, but I can say that for anyone, those waiting, praying and hoping that somebody will come and deliver, or slaves who prayed more than slaves. They prayed for 400 years, you know, and nothing happened. So I don't think anything is going to happen now. Anyway, thank you guys. That was my contribution.
Thank you, Curious Man. Sister Njoki, you want to say something to that before I bring the next person on?
Yeah, for those in the diaspora, I have several people who connect. Actually, I have descendants of the slaves. These are people who are taken to slavery in the UK, in the US, the Black community, who have started reaching out, wanting to understand our spirituality. And they're actually, some of them are even adopting African names because they come to realize what a name is. And I think it is important to support them also, as much as I know some of you in the diaspora, you have your homes here, so you have your roots here. But there are those who are taken and their roots were cut. And right now, because of the awakening, they're trying to reach out. They want to connect. They want to feel that they belong. We need to embrace them. I have several, some are professors, and they feel they need to be connected. There's one who later tells me, I know I come from your community and I'm coming home and you're going to teach me how to offer sacrifices. Actually, I've been teaching him how to offer libations. I've been teaching him how to communicate with the ancestors. He brings his children online and I take them through our rituals, our practices, and it is important. And I've seen those kids embracing that and feeling proud of their ancestors. Yes, so that we can do.
Absolutely.
And then that is the only way we are going to break these colonial boundaries. I hate them. I hate being called Kenyan. I hate referring to somebody as Ugandan. I hate that. I like feeling like we are one. We don't need these boundaries. Why do I need to pay? Why do I need a visa to go to Namibia? I don't need it.
It's absolutely absurd. It's absurd.
It's absurd. And then you go to the US, you don't need a visa to move from one state to the other. But for us, they have tied us down that every small state, every small country, is separate. But America is one. So we need to change that mindset.
Yes. All right, thanks, sis. I'm just going to bring on Mario. If you want to go, please.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
Is it good evening or is it good night now? Yes, brother. Maybe it's a network problem. Yes. Yeah, for me, the thing that I want to say is African spirituality is the best. Because like for me, since I started praying, yes, I pray in my ancestors' names. Like all the things that have been happening in my life is it's just been working so far so good. Like let me say, it's working good. It's because I'm even getting opportunities and getting business opportunities and other stuff like that. It's just moving smoothly, but surely I'm surely that when I'm putting it in my name of the ancestors, it's working honestly. It's because it's just a colonial religion which came to destroy our mentality and our spirituality. It's the one which is just taking us down. It's dragging our spirits down.
Yes.
Because if you just say that I pray in my ancestors' God, then you just end there. Wake up tomorrow and just ask yourself, yeah, but the prayers that I'm praying, truly, there's a God who's answering me. That God is the God of my ancestors. And you know, even in these Bibles that they say that Abraham used to pray that in the gods of what the father, who the God of who Jacob, the God of who this one, and they used to answer him. It's because that was African. That was African. Starting from that Exodus, that was African spirituality.
Yeah.
So for them, they came to twist up everything just to change our mentality that no, you cannot pray to this, how do you call it, the statues or sculptures. You cannot pray to these things. These things are evil. So the thing is for that, is just they just want to drag your spirituality down. It's because they know already that if you are going to do this, that's wrong. That's evil. You're going to go to hell. And hell is just a concept that was created by church. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, nobody is going to go to hell. So it wasn't even my choice to come on earth to be as a human being. It was himself that brought me to earth, that go and experience the life on earth. And sometimes I feel like I've been here at this place and I met this person. So what's the reason behind that one? Is most of the people that I used to ask, they used to experience this. It's like I've been there, I was somewhere there. Yeah. Then you can see that there's a connection that God wants to tell you that me, I don't take people to hell or anyway. So it's just people's mentality, like these white people. I don't know what they used to worship to. I think maybe they used to worship to the devil. Honestly, white people used to worship to the devil. So the devil doesn't want us black people to go to
Do you not see what they're doing right now? Have you seen the opening of the
Olympics.
Olympic Games?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, they're going back to, they always, you see, and in our language, they say when you burn a tree, and you leave it, it always go back to its original position.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. So
when you type CPU, the first suggestion that's gonna come up is.
Thank you, Mario.
Okay.
Are you done, Mario?
Huh?
Are you done talking?
Yeah, but the thing is that I want to encourage all of us,
Yeah.
Never teach your children that no, you must study English or Spanish or French. So I feel that connection between when I speak my language, like my African language, that my mom and my dad taught me. I feel that connection to the earth. Like when you speak this language, you just don't feel. You feel like you are alive.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yep. I agree.
You feel alive. Yeah. For me, I'm actually from. Let me say, my parents are from Angola, and my mom is from Namibia. So it's just like I'm just that type of a person who's like typical African. I'm proud for who I am right now, honestly speaking. It's because I have that spiritual connection between nature and I as a human being.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very empowering.
Nah, that's it that I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Mario. Thank you very much, sir.
I wanted to add something. I appreciate everybody and whatever. I appreciate everyone and what they're saying, and I love that we are all on the same page. I think there was some followers who were talking about, well, what do you do as you are awakening? So there's a lot more people who are awakening, and there was a comment about, well, what do you do about the isolation, because a lot of people in your life, your family members you're going to lose them is what the point.
My hand is up. I'm one of those people.
Me too. And I wanted to affirm anybody who's listening that this journey is a lonely one for a reason. It's almost like an initiation to help you cultivate your relationship with your ancestors and your spirituality, so that you can be reconnected back to source. Yep. That is the goal. You're going to be scared the whole way through. You're going to be scared of losing family members, scared of losing parents, cousins, siblings, best friends, people who have been in your life, but understand that life was a colonized life. So the journey for you now is to conquer each of those fears. Know that you're not alone. Your
Yep.
ancestors walk with you in every room you stand up in, and any idea, any business you're supposed to be doing, do it. That's where your energy is supposed to be. It's not to be convincing other people around you to wake up. No, your energy is supposed to be cultivated and listening to the messages that the ancestors have for you throughout the day, in the dreams, because they are speaking to us very loudly at this point. They really want us to be engaged. We can't be passive participants anymore. So in order for us to be active, you have to keep working on your fear. Know that fear is an illusion. That's really something that the colonizers said. And they said, right, hell is the fear, money is the fear, land is the, right. They told us all these things are the fear, but it's all lies. We know what the truth is. Stay focused and continue to do that work. It does feel scary, but you are completely surrounded and protected.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rose, for that. Absolutely powerful.
Brother, can I please say something here?
Yeah, go
Because
on,
this
go on,
sister
bro.
has brought me in the world of happiness. Now, again, I can relate to that because I remember last time when I went home, my cousins that I used to go to seminary with, right now, all of them label me as what do you call the Antichrist, or what they call me. Yeah, that's the exact word they said, because I don't go to church anymore. And I occasionally take my shoes off, especially when the weather is hot, when the sun is burning. I take my shoes off my leg and walk my barefoot to have a transmission from the earth connecting through my body. It's awesome. Practice it.
Grounding. Powerful, my brother.
Practice
Grounding.
Yes.
Practice it.
I can
I will
agree with
tell
that
you,
one, brother.
if I can tell you, if you practice that, please, what I'll say to that is try and find a virgin ground where it's not contaminated, where there are no glass. If you are in the bushes by yourself and you feel the sun is out and you can walk on your barefoot, please try it and feel what you get out of it.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I would like to say something on the awakening, and I really appreciate what my brother and my sister are saying. The journey may sound lonely. You get segregated. For me, it was difficult because they were saying that once you get highly educated, you get a PhD, you lose your mind. And then my ancestors moved me from the city, and I had to come to the village, and living in the village and having that connection with the four elements of the universe. I'm grounded. I always go to the river. I live near a river. I go to communicate with the goddess of the water. I'm always grounded, and I'm always offering libations. My ancestors, the spirits, they are always with me. I feel them. I feel them literally. They come in dreams. They come. They speak. If I tell you they speak the way I'm speaking, actually, when it started, I used to run away. I thought I was going crazy. They would call my name. And then the voice is so familiar, I would identify that is my father's voice, that's my grandfather's voice. But what I've discovered with the ancestors, when you start waking up, they always give you someone to walk with. So for those who are being awakened now, you are going to be given somebody to walk with. It's all that person is always there. Like for me, I've been connected with people that I don't know. They come to me. I don't know how we connect, and I walk with them. They start telling me about their dreams. They start telling me about what is happening to them. So I walk with them. I encourage them. Why? Because the whole family cannot be awakened at the same time.
Yeah.
The source knows, and our ancestors knows. They know who to choose. Just like it was the order that every clan, there used to be a diviner, there used to be a seer, and there used to be a special person who could divine and join everything. The same way is happening now. They are raising up one person to
Yeah.
represent the whole family. And then when you start offering your sacrifices and communicating, you start finding now the families are coming to you because things have been happening, strange things are happening to the families, and we don't
Yeah.
understand. So they are coming to you, and you have the answer. I had my sister the other day who wanted to be a pastor. Now she's running after me, telling me, asking me to teach her to speak to our mother because my
Wow.
mother is appearing to her and she doesn't know what to do. She's used to rebuking her. That's because that's what she has been taught.
That is so funny.
Yeah, so he called me and he told me your mom is appearing to me in my dreams. Sometimes I'm feeling her. I can feel her smell. I feel like she's sitting in the car and she's talking to me. What do I do? So now I'm
You know what,
walking.
sis? You know, my wife used to go through that where her mom used to speak to her because my wife is actually very, very spiritual, and she used to like
Yeah.
push it away. Initially, she thought it was part of the church, and then we left the church. And the more she starts connecting, the more powerful, the more in tune she has become now. She's embraced because she used to push it away, but now she's embraced it. She's more powerful. You know, my wife when my wife says something, my sister, it happens.
Yeah.
But we need to
It
embrace
happened to me.
this gift.
I used to shy away because,
Mm.
well, I'm not supposed to be connected like that because the indoctrination, that is uncivilized. Those things are in the past. We don't have them now.
Mm.
Then I started understanding that I am my ancestor. I
Yes, we
have a
are.
name. That name, I'm not the original carrier of that name. So there is a person who had that name. And that is why the white people had to give us their names in the
Yeah.
name of baptism. Yeah. For me, I went to the whole ceremony of denouncing that name, the white name, denouncing Christianity. So now I'm at peace. And when you start awakening, don't get scared.
Nah.
Yeah, the dreams are scary.
Bro, it says it was scary. You know, when I started this journey about 7 or 8 years ago, I used to
Yeah.
be scared. I ran back.
Yeah.
But now I'm comfortable because I don't think I was ready then. But now I'm comfortable. I'm fearless now. But initially, about 8 or 9 years ago, I used to be so scared. Everything my sister, it was scary. But it's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, the same. I moved, I think I moved to 5 churches. I left the Catholic church, I went to Deliverance Church, I went to Full Gospel Church, I went to another church, I can't remember the name, until I got tired because they would find me there. My ancestors would find me there and I would feel them sitting next to me. And sometimes I would see them in visions. And then when I matured, actually it's about 10 years ago, I was told to leave my house and come back to the village. Everybody thought that I have lost my head. But there are things that we are doing in the villages, restoring the sacred places, teaching people how to offer sacrifices, connecting with the people because our home area, we had the worst massacre during the Mau Mau. So there's been a lot of cleansing that we've been doing, trying to appease those who are aggrieved, especially those who are killed, and those who are killing them. Because the Mau Mau war was strange. It was a brother killing a brother. That's the division that was brought. And that is the division that we've been living in. So our spirituality now connects us. You connect with other people's spirit. The fear of death is no longer there. The fear of doing wrong is no longer there. I used to get angry when I was growing up. And I always question, why did God allow me to be born just to burn me in hell? I knew I was going to hell because I was always doing stupid things. I knew.
Yes, exactly. Even me, I can agree with that one. I'm not going to lie. I can agree with that one also.
Me too. I used to think I was going to go to hell also. That was the biggest fear I had to overcome. That was
Wow.
the big one.
Wow. We
It's
can all
a
And
relate.
that's
thing.
it. We can all relate. The thing
We
is,
can all.
once you start to scrutinize things that you've been taught from childhood about the Bible, about Christianity, God doesn't make sense again. But still, we don't get it because at that point, your brains is so how do I put it? Your brain is so brainwashed to the extent that you don't even see the real picture of what the Bible is actually telling you. You see, because when the moment you start to scrutinize the Bible, and I've always made that point, I think that's the point I made when I went to Ghana with my cousin, that he stopped talking to me. I asked him a simple question. I said, now you are a father, you have children, and you and your wife are in one bedroom, and your children are in another room. All of a sudden, snake pop into your room, and you grab that snake. You didn't kill the snake. You just grab the snake and chuck it into your children's room and tell your children, deal with that snake.
And be careful.
If that snake bites your children and kill them,
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
come to you, their soul comes to you, and then you gauge them. How is that making sense in your world? You say it doesn't make sense. That's okay. So are you telling me the story of the Bible of where God created Adam and Eve, put them in the garden, and the devil rebelled against God, and then God chucked him out of the heavens to the earth and told, here is the devil, be careful of him. Does it make sense? He said, no. I said, you see, this is why the Bible doesn't make sense. And he was like, I never thought of it that way. But the following day, I was expecting him to call me so that we can sit down and talk. That was it. He never called me. He never talked to me again
Never.
And
because I tried to reason with him.
Yeah.
you know, can I tell you, that's what I found is that we can't reason their way out of out of the religion. Does that make sense? Like I realize the
Yep.
more when we're on the other side of it, we see it clearly.
Yep.
It's so clear for us. But there was a point where we didn't see it clearly because we were crowded. Right? We were clouded by the fear. So if they haven't gotten over that fear of hell, you can't present any sort of logic that will really penetrate them.
I agree.
Right?
I agree.
It's only
100%.
it's only until they go through their own spiritual hell, then that's when they start to realize, oh, there is no hell. I'm going through it. My ancestors are helping me through. The hell that is created is the one on earth that these Europeans have created. Literally, they are the ones who are creating the hell. So once a person experiences that, then you can start talking to them more about the logic side. But if they're not there yet, you have to talk to them about addressing their fears. Talking to them about their fears. That's the way that you'll get to them.
Thanks, Rose, for that tip. I'll take that on board.
I was just gonna say, when I read, I was born and raised as a Jehovah Witness, and I think you guys can
Oh.
you can understand.
I can.
I was a fourth generation Jehovah Witness,
Wow.
baptized, preaching, knocking door to door, and this is why I said this awakening. Until you start asking some certain questions to yourself, nothing will make sense to you. And when I read from Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus going upward, I'm like, who did most of the killings in the Bible? I just need someone to show me one person that the devil has ever killed. I couldn't find one. And no, I have to start asking questions, and it's a bit difficult. I just came back from Africa where we did where I come from, we have a culture, we have a tradition. Like if your grandmother passed away, before she passed away, she would assign a successor. And they have to do a specific ceremony where they have to coronate you. And she chose me when I was like 3 years old. And I've been escaping from that. And since I became awoken, I went back home.
Wow.
And this thing is so intense because they had to get people from where my grandmother came from, where her husband came from. There were some specific elders. They had to go to her grave. There was no blood or any animal killing, but they did some certain rituals and put like this red powder, which comes from the bark of a tree on my forehead. They had to wrap some grass around my neck, and they said, today you step in her shoes. So we believe in reincarnation, Africans. We believe
Yes.
like the next person, you are now stepped into the shoes of your grandmother. And that's why our names have meanings. Our African names have meanings, and it's important for us to give our children those names because it connects us to something deeper. The moment we start taking these other names, we disconnect from every other thing.
Yes. Thank you, Curious Mind. Okay, Sister Njoki, I'm gonna run it up because I think it's about midnight your time now. So yeah, if you wanna just final words from you, my sister.
Please, a quick one, please. I want to ask a question.
Santa, okay. Go on,
First
Santa.
of all, I applaud everyone that was live today. I really enjoyed this section. It's really nice. And my question is, sir, please, when are we going to talk about the real deal about this so-called God? When are we going to talk about the meaning of God?
Okay, I think I'm in the process of actually lining up some pastors and non-pastors at the moment. So yeah, I've got a pre-recording to do on Thursday. What we're gonna talk about is Jesus real? So I'm gonna pre-record that. I'll let you guys know, but we're coming. Don't worry, I've got stuff coming up. So it's something. Things are lined up. I'll let you know, guys know.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I think I like the question he has raised.
Yeah.
And this is a conversation I had with another group yesterday. These young people, what I've discovered is that these Gen Zs, they are so curious about spirituality.
Yeah.
And one of them raised the question of what does God mean, the God of the Bible mean, saying that you should not have any other God? Does it mean that he created other gods? And why was he creating them and then telling you not to not to have them? You I am your God, thou shalt not have other gods, and yet he is the creator.
It's fraud. That's funny one. Yeah. Why must he create other gods and ask you not to obey or worship any other god? Is that not silly? I like that.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that we've been talking about childbirth. It's a topic, actually, it's a paper that I'm writing on the African spirituality and childbirth, and why our Africans had to be moved from having babies where they are, because in every African community we had midwives in every clan, and there was a reason. Because most of these children are normally born holding their sacred beads or lelics. I am one of those. When I was growing up, my father, when he takes his moratina and gets high, he would start complaining how my mother, they took my beads and they throw them away. So it's good to be keen, and I'm teaching the young mothers now, when they're giving birth, they need to check how the babies are being born. There's some babies who are born with the, what do you call it? The umbilical cord tied around them. The white man told us that the baby can kill itself. But in the African content, that is how seers were identified.
Yep.
The others are born holding their lelics with their hands, and the midwives nowadays tell us it is blood clots. Those are not blood clots. The other day, I was called by a lady whose daughter, 2-year-old daughter, the hand has been holding like a fist from when she was born, and they could not, what can I say? They could not break it. It's like the fingers had been tied together, and then she was due for an operation to try and reform the hand. Well, reform in quotes. So somebody just told him, well, I've heard about Dr. Mitugo. Why don't you contact her and she'll talk to you about, she's been teaching about African spirituality. So when they came to me, I just asked them whether there is the gift of divination in their family, and then she told me, yeah, my grandmother, she's over 100 years old, and she has that gift of divination. I told her then we need to visit her. When we visited that old woman, she's very old. Actually, she's more than 100. She just held the hand of that girl, stretched the hand, and removed those beads.
Wow.
And she put, I'm telling you, true story. It was last year. She put those beads together with hers.
Wow.
And blessed her. And then she died within 3 months, because that time she told us, this is what I was waiting for.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Wow.
Yeah, she said she could not go until she sees that. So,
Wow. That's
spirituality is
powerful.
real. Many of people who are gifted spiritually have been classified as mentally unstable.
Yeah.
Others, we've been told they have autism, and it is not autism. If you look at our spirituality and then you offer the right sacrifices, they start now giving us messages and information. So it is not just following the Creator, it is sucking from Him and feeding from that source.
Wow.
Feeding from that source. Feeding your soul, feeding your spirit, connecting your spirit. And I normally tell people, if you've not heard the voice of the ancestors, you're still not there, because they speak. Yan for them to speak. And my final word is that let us embrace the awakening. Let us compare what is happening in Kenya and what is happening all over the world, especially with the Black community, and look at the age of these children. Then we'll be able to understand it is our ancestors who have woken up. My sister has put it so well that our names are not our own. There is the owner of that name, and they are the ones who have woken up, and they are the ones who are speaking, because this is the final battle. Yeah. And I'm happy because we are going to see the new world, a world of no corruption, a world of no indoctrination, our education system going back, our innovative mind being put into place. The storytelling, we want to see our children telling stories, writing them, crafting. We need our music back.
Sure.
Let me just say something, the very, very final. I've noticed some kind of music that is being danced in my community when people have come together for the last 2 months now. We have the initiation music. And every time I open TikTok, I find old men, old women, young men singing initiation songs and dancing. Then I started asking, what is the connection between these initiation songs and what is happening? And I got the answer from the source. We're being initiated into the new world, into the new system. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, my sister. Thanks for coming. Rose, go with that diaspora liberal. Go on.
Listen,
this is great.
So empowered. Yes. Yes.
This is great. Brother, we should do this often. I know I've not been coming online nowadays, but I'll regularly be coming right now.
Sister Njoki, you hear that's an invitation for you, my sister.
Thank you. Now I'm back.
You're on TikTok now, so we can get you.
Now you can get me. I have updated every Saturday. My bad days are Mondays and Fridays because I have lectures.
Okay.
But Wednesday I also have lectures. But Saturdays are good. I'm not even in a hurry to go to bed. Tomorrow is Sunday.
Okay.
I don't go anywhere on Sunday.
Fantastic. I would love to hear her more, and even if we could have a breakout another time, I would love to schedule something to speak more about these experiences, because the women that are coming to me, they're coming with their ancestral gifts, and they're not they're scared to use them. So I would love for them to hear more of these stories so that they could know this was our norm. This was normal for us to be seers, to be dreaming, like to have all of these gifts. So I would love to hear more about this. If there's ever a session about that, I would love to
Yeah, I think
participate.
we're gonna start doing that. She's offered, she's available, so yeah, we're gonna start doing it. Let's use the platform. Let's do it.
I'm on board. I'm on board 100%. I
Okay,
love
no
it.
worries, young guy.
Lean on
Okay, we'll
this.
do.
I'm looking forward to this particular one.
No worries. I'll let you guys know. I'll plan the next one. I'll send the invitations out. Curious man, last word from you.
Oh, I just want to thank everyone. And it's very, very good because, you know, we came in one spirit. We are on the same page. It's difficult when you have people on the platform that cannot relate to you. It doesn't matter how many of us were here, but I think we've been able to learn from each other, which is the most important thing. And for those watching us, I think even if people agree or don't agree with us, most time people take something home and reflect on it. That's the mindset.
Thank you, my sister. And I'll say, for me, this has been absolutely fantastic. It's like it was divinely orchestrated. I've been so enriched and empowered today, man. I can't say enough. I've loved it. It's one of the best ones we've had so far. So thanks everybody for your contributions.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, I'll see you all soon. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.